Welcome back, everybody. Well, feels like we've been here before, doesn't it, Roddy? Clem versus Reynor. 12th time this year, this past 45 days, maybe even. It's, I don't know. I'm making up numbers. They might not even be that wrong. It's
No, I think you're pretty close. It might actually be you're lowballing, I think.
Yeah, I know. It's actually crazy. The third time they play in the show match of the Xel'Naga Finals. As we start up in the top right-hand side of Eternal Empire. Nice long game to get us started. Well, you know, why not? You know what the Eternal Empire looks like between these two. The top right, our blue Terran is Clem.
Are we going for the over or under on 1,000 Zerglings? In the left bottom side of Eternal Empire, the final boss himself, of course, representing Red Bull and Clash. It is Reynor.
I was actually talking to both Reynor and Clem. Well, I talked to Reynor about, I was mentioning about the patch notes. We ended up having a long discussion about ZVT, and he's like, well, you know, the only reason I lose against Clem is because he just deals those like 5 extra drones of damage early. And because he just plays so well from there, you just can't get back in the game. Like, you need him to miss a Bane lane, or need him to take a little bit too much from that one run by, and it just doesn't happen, so it's really difficult. So I talked to Clem, I was like, well, he must like the patch. He's like, yeah, it's great. TVZ is already so fun. So my discussion with Reynor goes on for like half an hour. I talked to Clem, it's like 2 lines. He's just like, yeah, life's pretty good right now. So these guys having fun.
Speaking of pro gamer conversations, actually before the grand final started, Mana made a tweet saying like, what is this myth about every PvT conversation about Terran being economically behind? And I really don't disagree with him. I know a lot of people will see that as wine, and a lot of Terran players are, you know, of a strong belief that it is indeed, but it's very easy to look at the work account and think that Terrans are economically behind. But, you know, we cannot just ignore the fact that mules are there for a reason. Like, obviously, without mules, indeed, it would be unplayable for Terran, of course, because then they would indeed always be economically behind. But, you know, if you just look at the income graphs of games, of professional games, I don't see it either. So I agree with Man on that part. And I know people will be like, brother, you're biased on Protoss. Like, I have never like been biased as a caster when it comes to my opinion about the game. You know, I'm a tryhard. I do my best in this video game, and I want to get good too. But I have never once let my own games influence like any opinion I have of balance or how I see the games. I can understand that Clem is happy with how things are going at the moment. I can definitely understand that he's going to be happy with the future patch. I also understand that some Zerg players are sweating a little bit because this is not the same as in 2019. Sure, Zerg is still, you know, we still have Dark out there. We still have Zero out there. We still have Reynor, of course. But last year, those guys felt invincible. This year, it feels like all of them, the Terrans can beat them. The Terrans have shown they can beat them. The maps are better right now for Terran. So, I don't know. I also do want to say that a future patch, you know, I understand that people always get a bit scared and a lot of people freak out before they even haven't seen a single game. I think we should never get too carried away, and even if we would end up in a scenario where, hey, maybe Zerg is going to perform a little less good right now for a month. Is that the end of the world, Wardi? You know, after the Zerg dominance of the last 3 years? I don't know. I think I could live with it.
Yeah, I think I could too, man. I'm just ready for a break. I'm ready for the YouTube comments to switch about, be about Terran for once, you know?
Yeah, I know. Like, I want to see people complain about having too many Terrans in the top 8. Wouldn't that be something?
Can you believe that 7 Terrans made the top 8 of ESL Pro 2? I don't think 7 Terrans exist, guys.
I know. Imagine, like, Dallas, the top 8 is going to be like Big Gabe, Clem, Sol, Uthermal.
Yeah.
We'll get a Taiwanese Terran up there. Cedar comes back, you know. I'll represent Australia in the top 8. Let's bring it on. I'm ready.
2 Hellions and a Reaper down the bottom side. There's a Queen, Fuelings moving around. A couple drones getting to mining.
One thing that we didn't really mention as we were just doing some generic talk about StarCraft 2 is that Reynor was able to get 3 bases up without any issues because he went for super quick 3rd hatchery, like before the 2-minute mark. So maybe not exactly how he wants his build order to flow, but then at least he doesn't get bothered by an SCV and stuff, right? eBay blocking it, the Reaper picking up the drone, so he's gonna be somewhat content with that. Now it's just about making sure he doesn't take that little too much damage. In this phase in the game, he almost gets the surround on the alien. He should get... No! You're kidding.
Shots back. That's actually a nice move. Gets back over there, back up through the center, and just going to be seeing the Reaper going down. Lings.
Well,
Get a nice surround in the end. So they do get 2 Hellions.
Yeah, no, that's good for Reynor. That's definitely the kind of stuff that he wants. He got the Reaper and 2 Hellions for just a couple links. Now, unfortunately, I feel like he's losing a few more links that he didn't have to lose. But I would still be okay with that if I'm Reynor.
Yeah. And I think it's pretty good still, right? Whenever you kill a couple Hellions and your opponent's going bio. Because now there's only 2 Hellions on the map. Clem actually cut at 4 Hellions, which is a bit earlier than usual. And this gives Reynor a lot of freedom with this creep spread. So he's not going to be taking any real early game damage here. Of course, Clem's on a nice fast 3cc already mining. And he is moving out on the map with this Bioforce with these medevacs already done. So this was actually 3cc into that very quick second racks.
But Reynor should be able to deal with this, right? It might be a little bit awkward. Maybe he has to drop a couple of transfusions, but I don't think he's going to be in too much trouble here. That hatchery is very low on HP, so that's a bit dicey. One queen takes a lot of fire, goes down immediately. The second queen goes down as well. But now we have enough Zerg links. It would have been so nice for Reynor to have those links in position just that bit quicker, right? Because then you don't lose those 2 queens. And one of them actually had a lot of energy as well.
Yeah, I think as soon as you start losing a couple of these queens, right, that's maybe the beginning of when Clem starts to do damage. He lifts up here, goes to the low ground, and these queens are just never there to deal the damage to the medevacs. So this just continues for that much longer. As Clem, I think he'll be happy with this so far, getting a couple queens. But of course, still the creep spread out the front is doing great on the left and the right side of the map. So it's a big positive for Reynor, and he will get that 4th base up very safely now.
Yep, and we obviously mentioned before that the final boss so far is 1 and 2 in these matches. He lost both best of 3s against Clem, so I'm sure that Reynor would love to get one back on the board, because that just looks a bit better, that just feels a bit better. He's at 73 drones, that 4th base is up. Unfortunately, that rich gas is not up yet. I'm gonna keep mentioning these for a while, because that's actually a free boost to your economy. Maybe he doesn't need that much gas right now, that's a possibility as well. Baneling speed is done, but a lot of the Banes are not done yet. There is a circling run by Wardi, and it's happening.
Oh, straight in between the natural and the 3rd base. The Ling's running over, and a few SCVs in some trouble right away. The Marines are going to stim. The tank will go down. And that's obviously a nice catch here. Meanwhile, Reynor at the front is starting to push forwards against that Marine tank force. But it's just a little bit too scary. Only 2 SCVs lost. Obviously, the tank's a nice pickoff, but good crisis control from Clem.
Yep, it felt that Reynor was like, this is my moment. This is where Clem is not paying attention, but Clem is just playing like a maniac, and he's always paying attention. So he did see that move coming as well. He's going to try his best to push that creep back further and further. The only thing is that when do you bring those tanks closer, right? That feels like a very hard task, and it seems like Clem agrees with us, so he just kind of leaves them where they are right now, and I think that's the correct call. There's no need to get carried away here if you...
Yeah, for sure. As you do see this hatchery, bottom side of the map here from Reynor, and it's getting that 5th base up as well, so just getting into... I do like how it's gone for Reynor, right? Like, I still feel like he's got good creep. I know there's not a lot of creep in front of this 4th base, but it's a very difficult position to get creep in front of as well. He's got a lot of creep on that left side of the map, which is going to make attacks on towards Clem's 4th that much easier.
The only thing I hate, though, is that that initial army never got cleaned up. And I feel like that's always an issue when you play against Terran in every matchup. If there is a push that's not meant to kill you, but just do damage, you need to clean it up. Now, Reynor is going to bring in Zerglings from the top side. He's going to try to trap the Marines, and he connects with a lot of these Marines as well. The stutter step is beautiful, though. A lot of additional Banelings did go down there in the end. But at least Reynor cleans up this force. And I think that's the most important thing, because you don't want to be in that situation where Clem has those tanks sitting there for 5 or 6 minutes, because then you know you'll never make any progress in the right bottom side. So that was a good move by Reynor, for sure.
Really nice cleanup, changes the pacing of this. Clem's sticking onto the siege tank production, of course, because of the Hydra choice from Reynor. Tanks make it so much easier to just keep on pushing back a Hydra force, because Hydras don't dot around as much as the Lingway meter does, so you don't have to reposition as much as Clem. You're really focused on those, like, big pushes through one direction, you know, setting up those tanks and just leaving them there until you get really kind of cleaned up in the pushes. At the moment, just wants to hold the 4th base, and Reynor's looking for some options on the left and the right side to see what he can perhaps get up to.
Yeah, I don't think he can really get too much done here. Maybe in the natural, though, because Clem has no vision of that army. Clem only sees the army on the left side. I don't think Reynor should get too carried away, because he's sitting at 95 drones. That is an insane amount. But how do you win a fight off creep if you're sitting on 95 drones? I don't think that's ever going to happen.
No, you're on 95 drones because you're meant to be losing some units, you know, backstabbing and rebuilding them quickly to then get in the fight on creep, right? So that you deal a bit of damage, while still having an army to fight, obviously, defensively, too. He's got a lot on this left-hand side that's just kind of sitting over there. Of course, it can come back to the right if Clem moves on to creep, but I would love to see it just going towards that 4th base. Man, there's so much from Clem over on the 4th base, though. 3 tanks, Marines.
Yeah, Sensor Tower as well. It's going to give him the heads up to bring those bio units a little bit closer. Banelings want to go for it. Banelings get blown up by the tank, but in the end, they will connect with the planetary and even get the Sensor Tower. I think that's a nice little bonus. That, of course, wasn't cheap, but it's something. And Reynor still has a lot of units in the right bottom side as well.
Yeah, maybe this is where Reynor can obviously go and fight a lot. Reynor is not... sorry, Clem can go and fight a lot. Reynor is not spending all of his money. Now he gets 38 more Zerglings on the way, but I'm a little worried it took him a while to start those.
Yeah.
Just feels like with these tanks already here, right, in that position set up, Clem's got a little while where he can just push forwards now because Reynor's waiting on reinforcements. He looks like he wants to come in from the left and the right, but then he pulled away on the right and didn't commit.
I feel like he's waiting for the Vipers because he's got 3 Vipers on the production tab. But that feels like that might just take a little bit too long. So Reynor is going to be forced to fight before he has those Vipers. The tanks are getting awfully close at this point. Reynor, you got to be a little more decisive. Do you give up this base? No, right? So a Blinding Cloud would be massive on those 4 tanks, but he needs to do it like now, otherwise he loses the hedge.
Yeah, Hatchery's just going to go down. He doesn't have the Vipers here in time, not with the energy. Drones go running to the left side. Of course, that's a base that's easy for Clem to push later because he just pushes off the 4th base into that position. Right now, Clem's just going to take advantage of what he's got. He is on siege, and Reynor's going to try and jump on that. The tanks will re-siege now. Big blinding clouds across all of them, but the Marines are all off creep, so they're just going to spread out, and the Banes will do nothing at all.
He and he scans it immediately. Clem is so sharp. He sees everything. Yeah, he's getting a phenomenal fight off creep in the end. The tanks, they didn't do anything. The Marines, they did a lot.
Yeah. And actually, okay, nice little lift up there at the end. I was actually impressed that Reynor just kind of pulled the trigger at that moment because it's a really hard decision, right? I know the tanks are on siege, but even still, it's off creep. There's a lot of bio there. Worked out for him, and now Reynor's out across the map. Can he push into that 4th? Still very difficult.
Damn, look at the production tab of both of them. 12 minutes into a game. That's pretty insane. They're building so much stuff. A lot of stuff happening. I don't know if you can run into the planetary, though. No, right? I think Reynor should go for the natural. Oh, that's so hard, too. There's bio units.
Yeah.
I don't think you do anything, actually, if you're Reynor. And I know that's scary, but I just don't think you do.
Let's see these Vipers pressing forwards.
Blinding clouds?
He's going to Blinding Cloud the first tank, Blinding Cloud the second. I wouldn't have minded the Abducts, really, as you do see a big Blinding Cloud on the 3. Obviously, that is nice, but there's, again, so much bio here. The Planetary doesn't go down this time, and now he's going to chase to kill a lot of these Hydras. A Mule Chop! The double Mule Chop gets some of the Hydras as well. And you know what, Roddy? They can go back to mine, and they're not even that far away from the 4th.
The idea was perfect. Imagine if that happens like a second earlier and he gets 7 Hydras. That's top of Reddit for a week, okay? And then Clem is basically the WCS champion of 2020 at that point. ESL Pro Tour, I should say. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, Lings and Hydras out the right side. You're going to see the bio coming in over to the left. A couple drones going down. So 7 workers picked off there. Still some bio fighting on the right. The tanks will siege up and just going to push the Lings back as well in this.
Wardi, look at the units lost resource stat. 7k difference. Yeah, Reynor has been rich, but has he been 7k richer?
Not when he loses the drones on this left side, I don't think, as I guess we'll watch the fight on the right because it's where a lot of the Banes are looking to connect here. Clem has to go running back again. He will not lose all the bio. And now he's killed 10, 11 workers as Queen pops out into its worst nightmare Marines. And these Lings just can't get even through the Marines. He tries to move the Spore for more surface area. It's not enough. And all the drones, bar 1, will go down on that base. And meanwhile, Clem's still trying to push over here. But the Vipers are giving him a tough time.
I gotta say, Reynor is doing amazingly well on the right side. I didn't really expect these fights to go that well for him. He tried to go for a little run. Oh, we don't mind. He tried to go for a little run by at the top side, but then it was like, nah, that's a planetary. I'm gonna let it go. But hey, Reynor actually got a victory there in the end because there was a 7k difference. It's now a lot closer to 6k. So that means that Reynor did get a pretty decisive victory in all those skirmishes. And he still has 83 drones. Why do these nerds not take their rich gas? It makes me so angry. Come on, Reynor. So nice.
Yeah,
I know he doesn't really need gas, but I just want to see it being used.
Reynor's going to go into the Lurker Den here and try and play a bit of a later game scenario with those Lurkers. Right now he's kind of overrunning this army over here. I mean, the Lurkers, I really feel they help you out a lot defensively. Obviously, offensively, they're much harder to use. It's going to take a while to get them all the upgrades in. He just had a couple of Burrowed Banes that went down.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. One of them. I mean, Reynor's doing a good job in keeping Clem relatively low at the supply, so that's a victory for sure. And won another little fight there, like brought the gap back to 5k difference, and obviously he's still mining more. The economy of Reynor is mental. Obviously, I understand that he's struggling spending his money a little bit because he's just been throwing away an insane amount of units. You know, I said over or under 1,000 Zerglings. We're almost at 500 at this point, Wardi.
Yeah, I mean, 500 and are we slowing down? Well, Clem's just at 170 supply, so maybe a little bit, but obviously that's the sort of supply that can survive this for the moment. Those Lurkers without upgrades just aren't super scary at the moment. I like this slow flank we've got set up, though.
I would love to see a random parasitic bomb being thrown at moments like that.
Yeah.
Right? I feel like the last thing you want to do as a Terran player, I don't know if like leeching energy of this hatch is the best thing ever, but I guess with Lurkers he feels confident he's not going to lose.
Yeah. I agree, Parasitic Bomb, because even if it doesn't stick around, like even if you split away, it's still pretty serious damage on a medevac, right? And
yeah,
you know, if you do that a few times over and those medevacs don't go to repair, you really do start picking up a couple of kills. And that's obviously, you know, all for energy. Of course, I mean, it depends if you've got the Viper energy going to spare. I feel like, yeah, one Parasite Bomb right now when you're doing so much else. The Lurkers get big burrows. These tanks are going to get overrun. And Reynor pushing forwards into this. I think what's most scary is the fact Reynor has such a big bank behind this, and Clem is going to struggle to get maxed out again. Lurkers are going to try and keep pushing forwards. Of course, you've got to be a little careful with them, but they now have adaptive talents, so the burrow is so fast. And he will get burrowed up and in range of this planetary fortress with the 3 of them already. And that will be a repair job for the SCVs.
Wow, sick game by Reynor though. I mean, last week we were almost a bit disappointed, right? Because last week Clem just steamrolled Reynor, and we're like, what is happening? That's like, Clem can beat Reynor, we understand that, because Reynor is amazing, but so is Clem. But it should never be a steamroll fiesta. This game is already a lot better than both games were last week. Reynor is playing some awesome StarCraft. He's been rich all along. He's been taking good fights. He's got Lurkers now, running them forward again. Once again in range of the Planetary Fortress. Gets a couple of tanks. Wow, Reynor's playing sick.
Planetary Fortress is in a lot of trouble at the moment. It needs to be repaired, and the SCV count here isn't exactly super high, so they're not out repairing it. The Lurkers will get the kill in a moment or two longer. The Ghosts come in for the snipes. The Planetary falls, though. I mean, a couple snipes do go off, but for Reynor, killing that Planetary is a pretty big deal, because all Clem has to replace it is an orbital.
I love Lurkers, man. Like, I feel like we just don't see them enough. They're really cool.
They're fun to watch, right? This top left base goes down as well. Clem really is falling apart in the economy, and Reynor's just sitting on a 3k bank.
Wow. These Lurkers are making life so tough for Clem. A couple of goals are eating very big shots of these Lurkers. They actually go down. And 2 goals barely survive, but this could very well be it here for game 1. Clem tried to at least get those Lurkers. He doesn't get them. Reynor is still close to maxed out, making a lot of links behind this, and these tanks are just not gonna save the day.
Yeah, all of this link Hydra force continue to push forwards. This is the point where there's just too much from the Zerg. Clem is out of here, and Reynor is taking game 1 in this best of 3. Looking good.
660 Zerglings went down in the end, and 100 mainlings. So, you know. not quite the 1,000 Zerglings we saw before, but still kind of a bloodbath, I think. Spiggy would.
Was pretty brutal matchup as second game. I've got to, you know, these guys, we haven't had to host lobbies all night, and Rain was just like, you know what,
makes you work, doesn't it?
Yeah, he does it every time. He makes me know I'm the admin even when I'm not.
I love it as well when there's like 2 pro gamers, they're like Eternal Empire, and then you're sitting here and they just sit there and they're like, yeah, go ahead, host it. I mean, peasants. And I'm like, oh.
It's when they're like, you want the game hot, don't you? So you're gonna host it, right? Like, god damn it, guys, I'm sorry I made you press an extra button. We missed one caster.
The second French guy?
Yeah, there we go.
Phantasma.
I don't know who Phantasma is. I've never heard of them. Is that just me?
Probably one of the Yo Gaming guys.
Yeah, I assume so, because he cast me a Thunker. Just not a name I've heard of before.
They have quite a few guys actually that rotate in and out as well, and a couple of them.
Yeah.
Sometimes they, one of these Frenchies retires or moves on to different things in esports. Yeah, it's a really good bunch of people. That must be really fun to work in a company with like 5 other people who really love TVT.
Reynor was too excited after his games earlier, man.
He how did he do? He won one series, right?
He beat Denver 2-1 in like a set of I think the best game was on Everdream, and he played against I think was so impressive is I played against like a Lurker Hydra style, like Ling Bane Lurker Hydra, a bit like this, but Denver went into it faster, and he controlled like a late game Ghost Liberator army like really well. It was when these guys like show up and you think, well, first 10 minutes surely I get it, they can be good, right? But like when he starts controlling like ghosts and he's dropping around the map, like he kind of looked like Clem. It's like he's dropping around the map, he's defending run-bys, he's sniping with the ghosts, and he's setting up libs. And I'm just like, damn, that's crazy. He fell off a bit in the TVP, and Denver got him in the rematch as well. But like honestly, like his first TVZ was really sick. Like it was actually, I was so impressed. I couldn't believe it, honestly. Really sick.
I hope that this doesn't go for the other people. To me, you kind of sound like a robot right now. So as long as it goes out to stream well, then I have no issue with it.
I guess that's just Discord having a moment or two.
Yeah, I know. I feel like all the medias or all the websites are having a moment at the moment. A lot of them are going down. I don't know exactly what's happening. Anyway, guys, game 2, and it seems like Clem had enough of longer games. Everdream is the map, left bottom side, looking at the main base of the young Frenchman. He has won 3 Xel'Naga Finest, but he is down 0-1 here. It is Liquid's Clem. And that Overlord Wardi is getting close.
It is getting very close to the Proxy. I actually think he's going to see the second Rax building. That's exactly what he sees. So Reynor, top right red Zerg, going to pull the drones. And what a start this is, because this is not just 2 racks, it's 3 racks, which is straight away way more committed. So to get the 3 racks found and delayed is obviously even worse for you. As these drones are coming. And
can he delay the first barracks?
The first one's
like
tough.
Just
because the SCV's in a good spot already.
Yeah, the second one is obviously going to take forever. Number 3, well, it's going to get close, though. I feel like there is a moment where this SCV could get in danger.
Yeah, if the other drones were still around the other side. It just finishes.
Well, it's still a disaster. It doesn't really change anything. Yeah. Reynor is up 1-0 already, and this is obviously an absolutely fantastic start.
Now he checks and finds the other SCV building as well.
Yeah, he should be able to get that SCV easily.
There's another SCV coming to replace it, though. I think still getting the kill is nice, or getting it low on HP, right?
Yeah. I feel like this party is over before it really began. This is like when you throw a big house party and you're like, everyone's welcome! But then before the party starts, the police is standing in front of it and they're like, no parties today. It's like, but we've got, booze and music. No, just no party today. That's what the Popo said. That's what Reynor said. GG gets called 2 minutes into Everdream. And the final boss, Reynor, with a good scout here with his Overlord, will, get some of his pride back, as he's now 2-2 in these final matches. But obviously, I think the man of the day, once again, is Clem. He played fantastic. Had a great run all along. And, I don't know how we can praise this kid, but winning 3 out of the 4 first editions of the Xel'Naga Finest. Game 2 and Game 3 against Mana, just unreal.
I think I remember you back in week 1 when Clem won. You were like, I don't feel like we've seen the last of Clem. We probably see him in another finals, and maybe he even wins another one. And now he's like 4 weeks down, he's won 3 of them. It's like, that's ridiculous. Like, that's actually just so impressive. That's not... I mean, the players he's going through as well, right? It's not like, he's getting seed 1, getting an easy bracket. Like, he's going through Showtime. The whole run is just crazy. Today, Showtime, Bly, Braddock, and Xel'Naga. I mean, yeah, they're all good players, right? And yeah, of course, you expect Clem to be favored in, maybe the first 3 of those. But again, Showtime, obviously not. Against Mana, who makes it to the finals, over a Laser, for example, and Gung Fu, and, in a bracket that had Hero Marine in. I know he wasn't the one to eliminate him, but... Right, like, it's just like, it's crazy. And of course, I mean, I'm talking about this week, never mind last week, he beat Serral, right? Like, crazy.
Yeah,
Kid's kind of good.
I mean, game 2 and game 3, I don't think I've ever said "oh no" as many times as I said in game 3 of Clem versus Mana. 'Cause that just felt,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just felt that at one point, when these players like Clem, when they are hitting their stride and they're already in shape, they don't just play good StarCraft. They play out of this world StarCraft, and that's kind of what we were watching there. Just really impressive stuff. Obviously, I think it's safe to say we're already very excited for the 5th edition. We'll of course be back next week. Same time, same place, 6 p.m. I always encourage everybody to sign up, guys, because it's fun. You know, you never know what you get. But imagine you get to play a best of 3 against Clem. Are you going to win? Probably not. But hey, you've got an amazing little story to tell there.
Or you
I
could
don't know.
get
Is there anybody
custom
else
bias.
you want to say again? Sorry?
You could get custom bias as well. Even better
Exactly.
story.
We always pick a community match in the first round. So
Do you?